All right, hello everyone, and welcome back for the final time in the EU bracket to the Zotac Cup Masters Europe Open Qualifier Finals. We're on game number 3 between Hala Ares and Let's Do It.
Let's do it!
It is a 1-1 tie, so game 3 determines it all. I'm Android, joined by Zyori.
Hello, hello. First pick Monkey King for Hala Ares. They took the first match. They looked strong. Gilger played an Earth Spirit, and they have since banned it out again. His Night Stalker definitely left a little bit to be desired compared to what he was able to achieve with the Earth Spirit. But some new faces. Bat Rider and Kotl. Okay.
We're just not going to talk about the Monkey King.
I said first pick Monkey King. What else do you want to say about it?
I hate it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's...
You can elaborate, or is that...
It's played pretty well when it's like one of those mid-guarders, like the position 4 that sits in mid and goes for the early boundless strike, but I've seen it played in the offlane like twice in competitive, and it drops the ball every time.
Like a solo position 3 offlaners?
Yes, sir. They're offlaning a Monkey King. I guess they're experimenting, but it's not great. It didn't work. It fell so far behind.
Yeah, leeching XP and stuff is pretty good in the off lane for the Monkey King. That's kind of the only value I can really see in that role. I think he's much better as a 4, no doubt. Yeah, not sold on the value of a 3. So I guess we'll leave it. I wouldn't even have suggested that as like a real possibility, but
All right, so
I believe teams are doing it.
Another thing to mention is that patch 7.05 just rolled out before this game, between game 2 and 3. And the players have all agreed to just dive in, as there was a bug with the patch notes and you couldn't see it. Yeah. Patch notes are now live, so players are probably just gobbling this up before they start.
How long is it here? What do we have? Anything interesting?
Tree and Protector now in Captain's mode. Tower base armor reduced by 2.
Oh shit, Tree and Protector. That's actually pretty cool.
Shrine base health reduced. Trying to think, skim for very big changes. Hand Midas XP reduced. That might stop a little bit of the excessive pickups.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Only the XP nerfed, not gold.
Gold is actually increased from 190
gold
to
is
220.
Increased. So to compensate, so now it's definitely more of an economy item and much less of a... Huh, that's interesting. Okay, then, I wonder how that's going to impact its pickup. I got to think about that a little.
Orb of Venom changes. It's going to be slowing less long, but DPS is increased. So maybe a change in pickups. It's not too wacky of a change. Just really, Ricky, Earth Spirit, Monkey King picks it up sometimes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Tranquil Boots no longer have armor.
I wonder if we'll see a
Tranquil Boots take a Windlace instead of a Ring of Protection. That's the difference.
Ooh.
I like that change a lot because a lot of supports are already going in for that Windlace anyway.
Interesting. All right, so there's a lot of changes this patch. Okay, well, a lot to digest.
Yeah, a lot of hero changes. That is like
a lot of hero tweaks, it looks like. Okay,
a lot of
cool.
changes. Lots of talent changes, mostly. Trying to see if there's any like straight up like ability big boy changes, but looks like mostly just talent tweaks.
Mm-hmm.
Some Monkey King changes for most of his abilities.
We see a Tree. Trent and I were actually just arguing about this the other day, and I thought Tree was about ready to be put in, and he was saying that he thinks he still needs to be fixed because he's too strong. I don't know that Tree is really that broken right now. He's annoying. It's that first like 5, sometimes up to 10 minutes where he feels unbearable. You get Orb of Venom and hit him with a Leech Seed, and it's like he has a double damage rune. I mean, he hits twice as hard as pretty much any other hero.
There we go. We got our Treant here. Now, important changes for our Treant. Leech Seed, slow reduced. Overgrowth, cooldown rescaled, so it doesn't change a whole lot. Just it's now no longer a flat 70. It's 100, 85, 70. So making it a little more balanced. His ult was just kind of always available before. And base movement speed reduced by 5. That's pretty crucial. Not huge, but before he could just gallop his way through the forest.
Yeah, the Leech Seed change is pretty big. Basically, the early levels got nerfed, and it still scales to the same point at level 4. So, no, that makes sense exactly along the lines I was talking about. It was the compounding slow of that and Orb of Venom, plus his massive right clicks and movement speed that made him unreal. So with those changes, maybe that's enough to have Trient in a very reasonable, you know, good spot.
Got some good Zeus buffs here too, but I don't think that's enough to make him picked here.
Well, which team do you think would pick him?
Any team. Zeus is just viable again. Basically all talent increases or talent changes. Oh, that's going to be 7.05, potentially like the first competitive game on 7.05.
So Batrider, pretty good against Monkey King. I have to imagine that they pick that up as some sort of a counter. You know, you can clear trees. It's a good bit of lockdown if you can get vision of him just to grab him and pull him out from his team. They will go for the Night Stalker again, probably Gilger once more.
Yeah, I mean, he had a really, really good first nighttime last game. And I think if he has that again, potentially could do really well. But like you mentioned, the rest of his game was a little underwhelming.
It was an okay nighttime. It was
he got 2 kills on cores the first nighttime.
A terrible start that lucked into being salvageable by getting a free kill on the TA and then onto the Ember Spirit. It was pretty rocky.
We have the Lena talent no longer at level 10. They switched it to level 15. So her respawn not going to be as absurd. That's one to note down if your Lena and pubs are getting a little out of control. So again, back to our current draft. Still have that ban on the Lena, so I guess it's irrelevant. Hala Ares looking here. They've got their Lifestealer, potentially going back in for their Lifestealer-esque strat. Nyx Assassin still available if they wanted to go down that road, but seems like they've got their... okay.
DK. All right. Not bad against TA. Gives you a little damage over time. Poke away at refraction. The damage debuff or whatever the word is for it from Breathe Fire. Pretty annoying against TA in lane. No doubt.
Yeah, Dragon Knight, not seen a whole lot. He's tanky as hell. But TA can still do a number. I don't think that'll really impact her farm much.
Yeah. Monkey King, Night Stalker. Yeah, none of these heroes really deal with TA that well.
Also, I mean, do they go for like a really like big old bitch position 5? Like, how do you make this not the grittiest lineup ever for all Ares?
I don't. No, I think they're just going to pick an offlaner. So, I mean, I don't know. They have a lot of choice. I don't think... what makes you say this lineup is super greedy?
Well, just who's going to be sitting there buying the wards? Night Stalker eventually needs to get himself some actual items. Monkey King is... Night
Stalker and Monkey King? You don't think those are the supports? You think they'll grab another support? I mean, they do need a range. I'm just not sold on this offlane Monkey King thing. I don't know why this team would want to do that.
I think it's going to be a Monkey King that kind of camps out mid, Night Stalker...
Yes, I mean, it could be position 3 Night Stalker too, but I mean...
Then that means they have to go for a position 5 last, and that's got to be...
Or they're going to pick... I don't know if Monkey King and Night Stalker are the worst support duo. I mean, it's a heavy melee lineup, which is kind of what makes this a bit dumpy, I think. There's like Magnus has been banned out, still susceptible to Timbersaw, but it doesn't seem like Let's Do It or too likely to pick that. I mean... Lifestealer will farm just like any other position 1. I don't think Dragon Knight is much greedier than like an Alchemist, for example, would be a really greedy mid. I don't think Dragon Knight is particularly greedy. You know, he wants to farm, hit a few core items, and then just knock down towers and have a pretty aggressive early game.
That's fair.
But this 5th pick is hard to read. Either Monkey King or Night Stalker could be in the off lane. You see they banned the Timbersaw.
I like that. They got 3 strength heroes already.
Yeah.
Just shredded right through them.
Yeah, the strength aspect is huge, but also just, you know, if they're going to pick a melee offlaner here, then, yeah, Timbersaw would just fucking destroy them. It's like, and especially with a DK, when you want a 5-man and push, like, God, that Timbersaw could be brutal. And Jakiro, still not used to that new portrait. All right, so they grabbed the Disruptor. So who's the offlaner? Is it the Monkey King or the Night Stalker?
The Monkey King's going to be guarding up mid. He's going to be rotating.
Yeah, I hope it's the Night Stalker. Let me put it that way.
I mean, potentially could be like a duo of the both of them, but that would still be a little bit quirky.
Yeah, no, Night Stalker fits well in a dual offlane scenario. I mean, depending on if it's just Batrider, it could be Lifestealer safe lane. They could do like a Disruptor Night Stalker up top. It would be a little bit weird, but they could do it. He's a great hero for aggro tri-lanes.
And the last pick will be the Troll Warlord. I like this a lot.
How come?
I think he scales really nicely. I think he'll do well with the Treant Protector, so we can go a little more YOLO in those fights with the Limbing Armor. And also, he's really fast, and Treant just goes in. They got enough holds with the Batrider Lasso, with the Keeper, bounce back with the Blinding Light, with the Treant Overgrowth. Troll's just going to have his pick.
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely work, but it's peculiar. I
mean, they got 2 blinds now.
Why Troll of all the heroes? Yeah, that's true. 2 blinds is pretty good.
Such a melee-heavy lineup. All you have to do is Whirling Axes and Lifestealer.
That is a really good point. Whirling Axes against 4 melee is really, really strong.
You can't blind Wukong's command monkeys, can you?
No. Like the ultimate, you mean?
Yeah, so like if he's standing in Wukong's command, he can't just Whirling Axes and not be touched, right?
Correct. Yeah. No, yeah, they're not. I don't think they're normal units that can be buffed. I think they're just weird. I don't know the word for it. They're just there. They're like structures, kind of like they don't, because you can't attack them or anything. You just they're just sort of, you know, it's like the Arc Warden Ghost or something. It's just kind of there, and when you walk by, it hits you. You can't. It has no hitbox or anything. So I don't think so. I think if that was the case, we probably would see Coddle or Troll against Monkey King a lot more frequently.
Yeah. So again, going into game number 3 in the Zotac Masters EU Open Qualifier Finals, one of these teams will get a chance to move on into the regional qualifiers, which are underway. Number 1 of those qualifiers was today. So already starting that long grind up to get to the LAN in Taiwan.
Yep, no doubt about it. So we'll see how game 3 fares. Interesting drafts. Both these teams proven to be pretty evenly matched, I think. We saw a lot of the games earlier, just very back and forth, very much that style where neither team is clearly outmatched. I'm not articulating well here, but I think it's fairly even in terms of skill. We've seen both teams make a number of kind of small misplays, you know, pickoffs here and there, a number of really just need to focus on barracks, and they dive into tier 4s, you know, the kind of irresistible plays like that. So should be an interesting game 3 here, Annie. I am pumped up. We'll see what Gilger can do on the Monkey King. He was the Night Stalker last game, so the roaming 4 seems to be one of the key facets for this Radiant squad, the Ares team.
Yeah, his Earth Spirit, again, in game number 1 was super impactful, but we'll see what he does on the Monkey. I am not a believer. I just don't like Monkey King as a concept. Nothing against Gilger, but such a cheese hero. So he's bouncing. He's been leaping around, and again, Treant Protector going to be inclined to stay near the trees as well. So these two will probably be on each other for most of the game.
I wonder who wins the duel between Treant and Monkey King at level 1.
Depends if Treant gets the bash or not.
Because Monkey King, well, even if he opens with the bash, because Monkey King is like that notorious hero you can't go blow for blow with, right? The
Happy Fun.
Whatever the passive is called.
Jingu Mastery. He doesn't have it yet.
Yeah, so. Yeah, well, assuming he has that leveled up. It's just sort of an interesting food for thought type deal. I'm pumped to see how Treant fares, though, if he really makes a difference. So far, he's just kind of hanging out in the mid lane. It is a dual lane mid, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think he wants to get... If Monkey King is like that, would Treant Protector go invis next to him?
I don't think so.
Because he's not a real tree, right?
I think so, but I actually don't know.
That could be one of those
I've never
really
tested
quirky mechanics where just no one's kind of thought of that, because Treant is so new in Captain's mode.
I mean, really, the question comes down to...
Is it a real tree?
Yes. Does it count as a tree, or does it just count as Monkey King and he just looks like a tree? And I think it's probably the latter. I think it's purely cosmetic. But... yeah, no, that would be pretty funny.
That would be hysterical if Treant just like rides that cruise ship all the way to the kill.
I'm not a Monkey King player, but I think that spell is random. So you can't just do a tree every time.
Yeah, no, it is random.
So I think in that regard, that's what makes it just a disguise.
I've seen a fantastic tango bait when he turned into a wad of tangos. And I guess the enemy team thought it was just someone dropped their tangos on the ground and they'll go pick them up. And Monkey King jumping in here. It looks like Grind backwards could be in some trouble. Tree trying to punch everyone up, keep him zoned, and that's going to be enough to keep the Batrider alive for now.
Yep. He pushes him back.
Oh, Tree taking a chunk of damage, but good thing Tree has a heal available. Not going to level it up yet. He is still level 1. but he'll get that eventually.
I mean, Tree brings a lot to the game outside of that early laning phase, but this is definitely a window where you want to do a lot with him, and he just can't do anything in this lane. It's going to be an easy first blood. Lifestealer will find the right clicks for the kill, and Treant will stand there watching his comrade die.
There's just nothing he can do at level 1.
So far, not very impactful.
I mean, you're really harping on this Treant.
Well, it's just like, he just got added. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
This is what people want to see, man. I want to see how new heroes fare in Captain's Mode.
He's charging in. Really would like to get the kill on Disruptor. Unfortunately, just a little bit short. Changes goes in, nibbles on the roots, but both heroes getting away safely for now, leaving this as a true 1v1 mid. And you can see that Keep Trying is taking so much damage from TA. Just the 1 point in Psyblade's making his life really uncomfortable. Oh no. Oh no. I panned away for half a second and I missed it.
TA gets a solo kill on the DK.
Yeah, we were just talking about how low he got down just from farming, so...
Wow.
Found a couple of nice angles there, and Nisha really taking the lead here. Last hits tied with our Troll
Warlord. Yeah, that's
Warlord.
huge.
We haven't really talked about our offlane here. Troll Warlord.
I don't think TA should be able to get a solo kill on Dragon Knight without the DK messing up. There were no rotations, right? There was nothing on the minimap. It was just the two of them.
No, it's just them
That's
going
crazy.
at it, and just by Nisha's course of farming with the level 2, or only level 1 at that time, Psyblades was able just to do enough damage to get him down.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is great for the Dire. I mean, TA, if you pop onto net worth real quick, she should be way ahead of him now. We'll see a Primal spring forward. They might be able to grab the Bat Rider. Kinetic Field locks him in.
Oh, he's flapping, trying to get across that little canal. Will be able to die there, so Radiant.
TP out from the tree.
Yeah, looking good like that.
So yeah, hit us with a Y.
Hit us the Y. What's Y?
Nope, not that. Okay. What's
you got to give me what you want.
Not net worth. Net worth.
W for worth.
Jesus.
What's wrong with W for worth?
Dominating. I am a big fan of default. I think people overrate their personal hotkeys, and
hotkeys are fantastic.
It complicates things for everyone. Pimp Muckle and those guys like you can't use arrow keys for obs. You have to use ASWD. I say, fuck that.
I use arrow keys.
Arrow keys, man. I just like defaults. It makes it very easy to sit down on any computer and be like, oh, reset to default. Great. Now I know how to do everything. And then I just change the courier, and that's it.
See, my hotkeys make more sense, though. You want the gold graph? Hit G for gold. Yeah? You want buybacks? B for buyback, man.
It's all arbitrary, man. Just memorize the hotkeys.
Yeah, you're ridiculous. All right,
Gilger.
Either way.
Gilger.
These guys slapping him out.
How much damage the tree does. It's actually insane.
94.
Like one right click was like 20% of the Monkey King's HP, maybe even more than that. It's pretty nuts. Not many heroes can have that claim to fame.
So, down bottom, just going to have changes continuing to farm up. Bat Rider getting a good amount out of this lane. In terms of levels, he's about to hit his 4. Going to get most of this farm, although Motto takes up that last hit. Tree soaking some of the experience there.
He desperately needs it, man. He's level 3.
Yeah.
This with levels, overall levels, is he kind of on par? Monkey King's only level 2. My God. He's having an even tougher game.
Yeah, I mean, that's to be expected. Monkey King kind of has that slow start. Now he's getting some experience mid, just kind of soaking by himself.
He's benefiting from his DK getting rolled. He gets to leech the XP mid as DK walks back. I mean, Dragon Knight is like... he's another one of these tempo heroes, right? We've talked about that a lot during this broadcast, but DK definitely fits the bill. And dying solo against a TA in lane like that, I mean, he's in a really bad spot, and it's going to be a slow road to recovery. DK is not a mid that is known for his recovery farm capabilities.
Monkey King with an Invis Rune, definitely thinking about what to do with that. And he's got himself the Boundless Strike, which could be pretty huge. Coddle channeling up on the Illuminate, and that's going to be their target there. Jumping onto the Coddle, 1 strike away from the Jingu Mastery. Boundless Strike sets up for the kill. They get the glimpse back on Nisha, but that's just bringing the problem closer. Nisha now stunned up. DK desperately trying to get out here. Going to get slowed by that Psionic Trap. And now Nisha trying to finish the job. Tree comes in, but nowhere near his ult. They don't have the overgrowth. They will be able to take out the TA. And Gilger, he's healed up, but will go down. Orb of Venom rears its ugly head. And now channel it from the Illuminate. Is DK going to stay too long? He did. He just let himself get picked off there. Ooh.
Yep. More brutal stuff. Dire slowly edging out a lead here. Look at that experience difference, too.
Yeah.
Their 2 leading cores top of the chart, and then everyone else in a very healthy spot there, right in the middle of the pack.
Oh, here we go. Exotic Deer trying to fight for his life here. Gets some good
Troll.
attack speed onto Troll, but oh, Boundless Strike comes in. They got the blind, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah. 3-on-1. Unfortunate for the Troll. A good rotation. A much-needed kill for the Radiant. And back to farming we go.
Yes, DK having a tough time there now. 2 deaths, one of which was...
Well, at least he has Iron Talon. That's big. Baby steps to recovery.
Bat Rider, I mean, he's sitting back. He's got his almost level 6, so definitely getting a lot out of this off lane, but is it, it's gonna get him a fast blink. Still having a little bit of trouble there with net worth, but we'll see. Up top, Chosen One having a pretty successful Night Stalker off lane. Just getting what he needs to in terms of levels. Now has his level 6 and gonna debut it with a cute little darkness.
Phase boots. So how's down bottom? How's old Bat Rider doing?
Just talked about him. Getting his level 6 right about now, but still distant dreams of a blink. Here we go, Night Stalker, he's hungry. Getting a lot out of that first nighttime, but can he actually escape here? Mata comes in, no ult for him, only level 5 Leech Seed, giving a little bit of juice back to the Troll as Changes will take out our Bat Rider shortly after he hits his 6.
It's like Monkey King rotated over and helped him set it up. Monkey King lands a Primal Spring. I think it's pretty easy for the Lifestealer to clean it up. All right, 7-4. Not a big gold lead, though. They're picking up some hero kills, but Dyer's still farming very nicely through this sticky part. Trient kind of desperate for his level 6. I guess Coddle in the same boat.
Yeah, really trying to keep that up. And Trient just going to be cornered into the ward bitch position as Coddle has big dreams of an Ags. Definitely wants to get that up as soon as possible. Yeah.
That's one of the great things about Coddle. One of the things that makes him a versatile support. Down bottom, Bat Rider might be okay here.
Yep, just going to go in. There is going to be that infest onto the little rangy here.
Yeah, they see it.
He's trying to play it cool. Do they see it? He's just acting like a normal range creep.
No, they pinged it out like crazy. Those were Bat Rider pings.
Oh, they're letting him off here.
No, they can't. They have to wait for their creep to get into HP where they can actually deny it. And Monkey King just too elusive. They will not be able to finish him off.
Lifestealer right back to farming. Kills a range creep, gets revenge. So
Armlet coming out. Standard stuff there. What's TA working on?
Well, currently killing Disruptor, but in terms of items, just going to be...
Straight Deso. Okay, so no blink. Just right into the damage.
Yeah, she's got one Mithril Hammer already flying out to her, so she's hitting pretty hard, but mobility potentially could be an issue.
And we've seen what this item can do if you rush it on TA. It kind of reminds me, it's like the equal but opposite if you get a super early Vanguard on Bristleback. He just feels unkillable. And when TA grabs this item, she already has minus armor, and you know, with a Meld Strike Deso, you can kind of like two-shot these Disruptor, paper-thin supports.
Yeah, so she just lays in the damage.
Can certainly be an item that unlocks your ability to get some momentum, for sure. Desolator, similar story for the Lifestealer. He'll be working on that coming out next as well.
Yep, already with a completed Armlet Bat Rider. He's 500 gold towards his Blink, but it's still going to be a little bit steep trying to pick that up. Nisha laying in some damage onto our DK, who's picking up a Midas pretty shortly. Definitely a little greedier there. Now here we go. 3 heroes from the Radiant go forward. Nice blind, though. They're not going to be able to do a whole lot of right-click damage to her, but it wears off. They get the kill on the TA, and Troll walks into the stun there. Is going to be swirling around looking for some right clicks, and now Bat Rider is able to lock down the Lifestealer. Not doing a whole lot of damage, but just keeping him out of the fight. Exotic Deer really trying to one-up this fight. And they will be able to get the Overgrowth off. All 3 Radiant heroes caught in that. Changes now under the tower, way in a lot of trouble. Hops into this creep. They know it's in one of these guys, and it's probably the melee one.
That was a sick blinding light from the Coddle. Almost secured the kill there. In the end, works out very well for the Radiant. They get the kill on TA, only losing their Disruptor. But it looked like the Dire would have some more options. I can't believe that Troll survived. Really good Overgrowth from the Treant to make sure he survives. Or the Troll has picked up Vlad's now. There we go. Lifesteal for him.
Yeah, I mean, it was super, super common just a patch or 2 ago to go for that Helm with the Dominator, but then they unfortunately nerfed that into the ground.
Yeah, that item is a shell of its former self, unfortunately. I look at it, and I just... You know,
there's always something better than it.
Pretty much. I look at how little it gives you in terms of stats. It's like, why would I buy this? What?
Because you can have a pet.
Yeah, I mean, that was the next time I was going to go. The only time it's worth it is if you are really good at microing those creeps. You can still do a lot of work with, just having early purges, early root from the Dark Troll. All sorts of stuff like that.
Now going in, they blast Mata right into TA's jaws, and now she's going to sit there and take...
Surprised he ulted that.
Now they kill off the Coddle. They're looking for a kill on Nisha as well.
Yeah.
With Treant there, it gets a little tougher.
No, it works out well. It was a good call by the Disruptor.
Yeah.
Didn't think they'd be able to burst the Coddle quite so quickly.
So very even trade.
I'm still a little concerned, though. It feels like Radiant are control the game right now, right? It feels like we've been watching them really take a lot more kills and start shifting the momentum, but they really haven't that much. I mean, the amount of gold that's changed is pretty low. Dire have done a good job staying split. I mean, Troll's still finding a decent amount of farm in between fights. Overall, it's still a very even game.
Yeah, and again, we really haven't started to see a huge impact out of Troll. He needs a lot more time to farm before he's going to be a nasty position one. Now, unfortunately... Okay, no, he's actually going to go ahead and just destroy here. Gilger trying to get the most out of his ult here. He's crawling through the trees, going to keep up with him. He's trying not to leave the circle. Will bail out there and be able to escape. Meanwhile, mid lane, things are heating up as Nisha wants to go back in, but is going to have to turn and run as Night Stalker goes forward. They find a kill there. The Illuminate is going to miss catching onto the DK as well, and now Coddle dies too. Globally going to be a 2-for-1.
Yeah, that hurts. TA slowing down a lot. This is that stage of the game where she really does not want to be spending time in the grave.
Ooh. No, Batrider just sitting there, going to be slowed, and I mean,
he's in big trouble.
Find this kill. It looks like he's going to get healed up, and Radiant opt to focus on the tower here, keep those objectives in mind, and they're not going to be able to find it before the Dire mount the defense. Nope.
DK pushing a little bit here and there. It's kind of weird. You know, Treant in some ways is really good against these kind of pushing heroes, obviously because he heals up towers, but in situations when there's a DK on the other team, you can't really use living armor to stop a push once it's happening. You can only stop the push and then heal up the tower afterwards, but the corrosive damage over time kind of just cripples it in the moment, and you can flash push down towers. So they kind of counter each other in a way. It's a weird dynamic.
Exotic Deer, a troll here, thinking about that. Sanj and Yasha, no surprise, just a great troll item all around, and thank God it's back from the dead. They just keep buffing it. 7.05. Did it have a Sanj and Yasha buff? I didn't check.
7 point, no. I didn't see one when I was kind of peeking over your shoulder, but...
It's been, like, steadily going up by, like, 5% every time.
Yeah, SNY is a weird item in that regard, too. There are a couple of players that really like what SNY does, how it just kind of tanks you up. You know, you hit this moment where you go from, I'm just a regular hero, to I have everything that I need now. However, it still in a lot of cases just feels like a jack of all trades that doesn't really excel in anything.
Yeah, it's safe. It's not going to, like, totally win you a niche kind of, I need this particular item for this particular thing. It's just good stats.
Historically, it seems like a hard item to balance. You know, it's either really strong and everybody buys it because it's the stat item, or it's not that great and nobody buys it because it's not really the stat item at all.
Tier 1 for Tier 2 push coming out. Troll holding on to that battle trance, but still stacking up the fervor and starting to make quick work of this. My God, with TA's Deso, that thing just goes down. Batrider. Very defensive there, making sure there's no TPs in. So Tier 2 goes down before the Tier 1 is finished off.
Yeah, I've been talking about DK being a pusher, but Troll TA, man, that is a lot of pushing power. Battle Trance with the Desolator, suddenly, you can flash push towers.
You don't have any racks, and you blinked.
Yeah, I mean, we're only 16 minutes in. The Troll is, I would say, not even really online yet. You know, he's farming very well, but he's not at that critical mass yet where you see the Troll and just want to run away. And they're having absolutely no trouble taking out these towers.
Full Sanj, or rather full Yasha completed for him. He's onto the Sanj now, and it looks like they're going to try their hand at Roche. It's a risky play as there is a big smoke infest gank coming their way, and we'll see how hard they can commit to this. Again, Batrider circling the pit, has his blink. There is going to be the smoke popped out. The nighttime, though, making things very difficult to find. Monkey King getting ready to hop into the pit. There is going to be that silence, and Troll stuck. This is huge. The Boundless Strike keeping him trapped under the Static Storm. He's still alive. Exotic Deer is still fighting. Gets the blind up. Oh, my goodness.
He lived for so long, though. That completely changed the fight. Yes, Troll ends up dying, but it's a 1 for 3. Disruptor will slowly limp away, and they might still grab the DK here on the bottom.
Yeah, he is slow as heck, and not an ounce of mana on him. He's going to be burning down. He's got his armlet optimistically toggled on, but still a triple kill for TA. They will secure the Roche and the Aegis.
showing us the power of the Troll Warlord. Once you have lifesteal and he connects with a blind, you just attack something, close your eyes, and hope for the best. That's literally what happened right there. Troll just started manning up, bashing those axes, life-stealing the entire way. He survived way longer than he should have there, simply put. And some of that was because of blinds, some of that was because of lifesteal. But if he had just died straight up, that would have been a completely different engagement. So now Dire, they get Rosh, and they take, I think, the biggest lead we've seen yet this game, 34, 3,500. Yeah. Nice downward spiral there on the gold graph. Yeah, that should be a pretty happy squad.
Looking at experience, what that means for levels, our TA already cracked that 15 threshold and has opted to pick herself up the +6 stats. Not the evasion, but we do see a lot of competitive TAs go for the stats just because, holy mackerel, that's a lot of stats.
Monkey King going for a Midas?
Sure looks like it.
Wow. Okay.
I think Gilger just really freaking likes his Midas.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not unusual. I mean, we do see a lot of Monkey King Midas and then into something like an Echo Saber as kind of that big staple mid-game item.
Yeah, I guess when you look at this game, hard one for them to close out. Really good high ground defense for the Dire. Treant, Coddle, two amazing supports in that regard. And Radiant-wise, they have pretty decent high ground defense also. Wukong's Command, Disruptor in general, DK, which is AoE Fire Blast, damage mitigation, all that stuff. So I guess it's a pretty reasonable game for Monkey King in kind of this scenario to think, well, if I get a Basher or an Echo Saber with this instead, yeah, maybe we can take a team fight, but I don't think this game's going to end, so Midas will allow me to at least keep tempo if we can extend it out. We'll see if that assessment is correct, as Dire start looking like they're going to knock on the door for the high ground.
Yeah, they're definitely posturing up for it. This tower going down quickly. TA.
I like this, though. Poke it, force out the glyph, and just back up. Very smart, very controlled. You know, no reason to commit too much there, but I like the idea to come in, force out the glyph, and force the rotations. Right? Look at the positioning of Radiant right now. All 5 of them are basically in the base. You've got one hero farming the closest camp. That's all part of that pressure that they just put on there. And if they just backed up and kept farming, it allows the Radiant a little bit more space to try and recover. So I think for now, Dire are playing this appropriately aggressive, and hopefully they can keep it up.
Chosen One popping that darkness just to make sure that him and DK can keep farming. The Dire troop marching up the mid lanes. And it's getting ready for Dire to really make the moves. They're still sitting on the lead pretty handily now. 7,500 gold going their way at the 20-minute mark. I mean, that's big. They've got to make something of it, though. Like you mentioned, Radiant have pretty decent high ground holds, so I mean, if Dire just keep charging up and dying on high ground 2 or 3 times, that puts the game right back to even.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways because both teams have pretty good high ground defense. So outside of like a 15, 20K net worth lead, I could honestly see either team get pretty far ahead, try to break high ground, and then fall apart, making it happen. So we'll see.
Tense moment now. Nisha starting to lay into this tower. Troll Warlord going to be splitting himself out from the herd, just going back and farming, so he's not going to be present there unless Coddle wants to take him back in. And that means Coddle will have to pop the spirit form. So they kind of have that green light that they're all going to have to commit to, but with 2 heroes now going down, trying to put some pressure onto the Night Stalker, they do have to back, and unfortunately they miss the Night Stalker. He does TP out.
Well, back to even we go. What's the timer on Rosh? Are we still pretty far away?
Yeah, I think we still have Aegis up.
Oh, yeah, Aegis is still up. My God, okay.
Yeah, TA still has like 3 minutes on that thing.
Wow. So, yeah, maybe they'll try to have another go. All the outer towers down. This is kind of that weird moment where you don't want to get hyper-aggressive,
well,
but you want to put pressure on.
Treant gets some really good eyes in the situation now. Briefly was in vision there. They pinged something out, and now he's he's playing a tricky game. Doesn't have himself a TP, so just has to close his eyes and hope no one sees him. Top Monkey King just continues to bounce around. This Monkey King really not playing as much with his team as other Monkey Kings I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, this is a player that kind of obviously has his own style, right? We've seen him in a number of different situations now, and he moves around a lot. He has kind of like he reminds me of Seneko a little bit.
Yeah.
He covers a lot of ground, but he's pretty good at getting stuff done. I mean, you look at him, his farm overall, and he's got pretty decent net worth, given that he's pretty much just been roaming around with a Midas.
Yeah, I mean, the most successful Monkey Kings I've seen, at least in like this iteration of how to play them, is ones that just like stick to their mid like glue, where the mid can do the damage and Monkey King really goes for the layup, similar to like an Earthshaker who just goes in with a really nice fissure and lets the mid do the damage. So definitely a different style we're seeing here, much more of that.
That's a good analogy, though. Strong,
independent Monkey King, but we'll see how it pays off.
Yeah. Slow and steady. Dire looking for this opening to try to break the high ground, and Radiant not really giving him that opening. Doing a good job playing tight, not allowing any pickoffs or undue deaths. However, they are getting out-farmed. And if you've been paying attention to that little net worth slider up at the top there, it has just been downward, downward for the Dire. Maybe slowed down a little bit, but still, they're pretty happy with this. And as long as they're out-farming their opponents, I think they're pretty happy.
We're just about ready to get things started here as Dire are going ahead and recalling all their friends, showing off that new Caudal Ags style, and trying to chase down this Monkey King who... And he's got an infest in him, maybe a little bit of potential bait happening here. He's going to get blinded, lighted back down low. And now just completely obliterated here. Tries to TP out. Lifestealer will get caught as well. A little hasty overgrowth. Over ambitious there. Didn't quite need to commit that, but he'll be back up in a minute and a half.
Still, and they force a buyback without doing really anything besides getting the pick off, and Lifestealer doesn't have one. This is a big window.
Yep. Sonic Trap, just keeping eyes on Mata, making sure he's nice and goopy, nice and slow. Keep trying here. Gonna get zoned back. Immediate Dragon Tail, though, onto the Batrider here. And with the follow-up of the Static Storm, it might just be enough. The Wukong's command clips onto the Caudal. He's able to run himself out of the pit. Now Mata just getting laid into by our Templar Assassin. But
deep.
Yeah, she doesn't have her Aegis anymore, and she's really playing aggressive here. Goes for the meld play. It will not be successful. She loses her life. And now a Chosen One, he's on the aggressive here. He's hunting.
What a weird fight. Why did they prioritize going for heroes instead of just chipping at the structures? They'll grab the Tree and Protector. That'll be another nice little pick off. But this really very reminiscent of game number 1, where the same team, Hala Ares, they had the ability to siege, and instead they prioritized the distraction rather than just sitting low ground and chipping at the tower. And with a Desolator, with a Troll that has his S and Y, you can just sit back and make them come to you. Make them come out of the base.
Yeah, they could have made such quick work of that. And the way the Wukong's command was positioned, Troll could have been sitting on the low ground with his range on, going for the tower hit.
Could be a good pick off here, right onto the Lifestealer. No friends nearby, but oh wait, there's an Infest.
I just got to keep on top of this creepy. Oh, okay. So, free pass on that one. Thinking about the next Roche. We'll see if that's going to be a long or a short guy. Just a couple of seconds, but yeah, I mean, exactly what you mentioned before, where Dire, they could have just gone in and they could have just kept their eyes on the prize, but they're just so distracted by these shiny, easy kills. Well, and Radiant are making a good hold of it. They're reading this very well.
It's just... You know they have good high ground defense, and it's like they were surprised when the Wukong's command came out, and that's what killed the Batrider and forced them back. Then after Wukong's command came out, the TA just jumped in like crazy.
I thought she had like a BKB or something. Cause
no force staff, no exit strategy, and it's just an exceptionally bold play in that scenario.
Does she think this is real? No. Okay. Not gonna get too into it, as this one's also scattered out. So, I mean, everyone just going back, continuing to farm up, but it's, I mean, the Dire, you can see they just lost a huge chunk of their lead there, and if they do that a couple more times, Radiant can find a window back into this game easily.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. It's not over yet. 7,000 net worth deficit is really not that huge at this stage. It is recoverable.
Yeah, I mean, again, the tower pushing potential of TA and Troll is ridiculous, and Troll continuing to farm really well. Now, BKB and Blink Dagger since the last time we checked up on him. But it's all about using that to your advantage, actually using that to push into structures rather than trying to take some really ambitious team fights.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. I think they just need to take a slightly more defensive posture when they're pushing and allow them to, try to like bait out some of the spells, for example. I don't think you really want to take a heads-on fight against Radiant if they have everything available. If you have that Static Storm kinetic field plus the Wukong's command, you kind of don't want to tank all of that head on, right? That's pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, the first initiation we saw to the high ground was great, where they went in, they tapped on the tier 3 a little bit.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Fortify came out, they backed off. They played safe. And
yeah,
I mean, when the Fortify isn't being used, it seems like that safety just goes out the window.
Yeah, so at this point, I think that means they need to wait out for next Roche. Probably pretty likely. Get some wards up in enemy territory, look for the pickoffs.
That's a quick Roche.
And it's a little bit past the 50% mark.
I mean, it's up right now, so they could just rotate back and try to go for it.
Yeah, but it wasn't a particularly fast respawn. It was slightly longer than average.
Well, they're going at it. It's ready now, and Exotic Deer can just pummel this thing. If TA gets in there and just desolates it once. There we go. And it's gone. Radiant, they're making a hold for it, though. Disruptor's still smoked up. They know this is going down. They pop a sentry ward on the cliff, but it's not quick enough. TA snaps up another Aegis, and immediate smoke play here. Batrider moves forward. Mata going to be glimpsing him back, but in time for his friends to blink forward, and they drop the Static Storm, but no kinetic field to hold him back, so now it's just Dire feeling fantastic. Even when Disruptor spawns, he won't have his ult back up. Yeah. So a lot of the AoE now gone, and they're just ready to push this in. There's going to be that level 3 Dragon Form up from DK, trying to hold everyone back, but it's difficult. Wukong's command ready to drop in, but
no buyback on Disruptor. This is tough.
They've got to lock him down without being too YOLO. So we'll see if they're just going to keep their eyes on the prize here. Nisha laying into the structures will get silenced, but still has that refraction up. Boundless Strike connects onto 2.
So far, so good, though. Yep. This is exactly how you want to do it. Good lasso, but the Batrider taking a lot of damage in return. Now the Troll ready to go ham. Wukong's command comes out. It's a chaotic fight, but TA goes in for more.
She's got an Aegis this time, though, so it's not going to be as punishing as it was first time around, and they do kill off the Monkey King, so once she respawns, she's just got free reign over this lane of Rax, and I think that should be mid-Rax with 2 heroes dead.
No buybacks, yeah. You're right. The Aegis is exactly what they needed, because TA went in ham. She even BKBs the exit strategy there.
She's not relaxing whatsoever. And they will find another kill. Her and Exotic Deer. Now please focus on the Rax here.
I think this is game here, Annie.
Yep.
3 heroes down without buyback, and they call it. Very nice. Another one of these really bumpy games, but in the end, the Troll TA combo is just a little bit too much for him to deal with. Able to push those towers down in the mid game, get a little momentum, and then TA, notorious for her ability to control the area around the Roche pit, but Roshan making a big difference in that game, undoubtedly.
Yeah, it allowed for TA to go that absolutely wacky deep strategy that she seems to love, but it does pay off, so.
Yeah, I mean, Nisha definitely saw red a few times that game, just diving into the high ground, but overall, a pretty impressive series.
It will be Let's Do It as your EU bracket open qualifier winners.
Looks like they found the antidote to Ala Eris, which is just first ban the Earth Spirit.
That seemed to be really effective.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for EU coverage today, although the NA bracket is just heating up. They are on game 1 of the finals there, the finals between switch tabs.
Yeah,
Fire and Team Freedom. Oh, wow. That is a great match. So don't know if we can bring you game number 1, but game number 2 and potentially 3 are on us. So sit tight.
Just look at Brax's games. See what's cut the local and see what Brax is doing.
All right. Be back in a sec.